Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope everybody's having a great day. I don't have a lot of news today. This might be a little bit shorter video than normal, but here's a couple things I thought were cool that came out today. Wells Fargo invests $5 million in startup connecting crypto exchanges and banks. Announced Thursday, the fresh $5 million from Wells Fargo Strategic Capital (WFSC) brings Elliptic's Series B up to a total of $28 million. The investment is partly geared toward a recently launched product that helps crypto exchanges win banking relationships, Elliptic said. The product Elliptic Discovery provides a bill of health for over 200 crypto exchanges worldwide, covering everything from how they conduct know your customer checks to whether they're regulated in the first place. Previously, a bank just didn't know much about the exchange that was wanting to open an account with them. Elliptic co-founder Tom Robinson told CoinDesk that this will give them insight into how risky or otherwise a given crypto exchange is. Almost all big banks have avoided crypto businesses because of perceived risks of dealing with potentially unsavory transactions was thought to outweigh the benefits. The job has been left to a handful of smaller financial institutions, including the US-based Silvergate and Signature banks. Says Wells Fargo is not the only bank to have taken an interest in Elliptic, but it is the first one from the US. So that is pretty cool. Wells Fargo connecting crypto exchanges and banks. Which got me thinking, like, a lot of people, I don't know. I remember whenever I was like 18 or 19 and I wanted to like invest some money, just try to save a little bit, start like a savings account. And I went in and I asked my bank what the best way to invest some money would be, and they told me to open a CD. And I understand what it is now, but at the time I didn't get it. So I googled this Bank of Oklahoma's standard CD rate. So APY, annual percentage yield. So if you put $1,000 into a CD into a bank for a year with Bank of Oklahoma, then your money will grow by 1.4%. So that's not much at all. You may think that that's, a good thing. However, your money's only growing by 1.4%. If you look at the annual inflation rate, here, I pulled it up right here. The annual inflation rate for the United States is 2.3% for the 12 months ended December 2019 as compared to 2.1% previously, according to the U.S. Labor Department data published on January 14, 2020. The next inflation update is scheduled for release on February 13, 2020, at 8:30 a.m., which is today. So you're putting $1,000 into the bank and it's growing by 1.4% every year, but the inflation rate is 2.3%. So, one second. Give me that. So you're actually losing money. A lot of people don't understand this concept, but this is how the banks make money. They just hold on to your money, and as they print more money and inflation goes up, they're actually taking your money. But to you don't understand the difference because the inflation doesn't. Sorry, my dog always wants to play every time I start a video. So yeah, if I were you, I would not recommend opening a CD at a bank. I don't give professional financial advice or anything. That's just my opinion. But yeah, there's that. So here's another thing I thought was cool. Bitcoin miner Canaan shares valued at $8.04 after surging 80%. After steadily depreciating well into the last quarter of 2019, Canaan certainly rebounded slightly today. The company was the first example of a large Bitcoin miner to go public on the NASDAQ. However, after its initial public offering IPO on November 21st, Canaan's stock prices dropped nearly 40% within weeks, which is crazy. The mining giant stock took a beating from its original value of $13 on the day of the launch to drop to $5.25 in mid-December. As of closing today, the block reported Canaan shares are valued at $8.04, a surge of over 80% from its opening price of $4.42. Canaan has been facing stiff competition from Bitmain. Bitmain has a lot of miners. That's a good competition, and competition from Bitmain and racing to develop technology to stay on top. Most recently, the company unveiled 5 nanometer chips to improve power and performance. So, I didn't even know that there were Bitcoin mining companies on the NASDAQ. I thought that was pretty freaking cool. So, I'm gonna have to check that out later. Here's another one I thought was really cool. U.S. Treasury Secretary promises significant new requirements on cryptocurrency. I'm just going to read this whole article. Though the Democratic presidential race in the United States may have lost its most forward-thinking candidate, which it was Andrew Yang, we talked about that I think yesterday or the day before about how he dropped out because he said it didn't look like he was going to win. The numbers were just so against him. It says when it comes to cryptocurrency, that doesn't mean it's not still a hot button issue across party lines. The number of patents and companies associated with cryptocurrencies and blockchains continues to rise in the U.S. market, making it both an economic and political issue. In 2020, the United States Senate held a hearing to go over the 2021 budget on Wednesday while defending Trump's $4.8 trillion proposal. Senator Maggie Hassan, D-NH, asked a question regarding cryptocurrency. She's... Oh my god, quit jumping on me. It says, how will the Treasury's proposed budget increase in monitoring suspicious cryptocurrency transactions and prosecuting terrorists and other criminal organizations financing illicit activities with cryptocurrency? Secretary of the Treasury Steven Mnuchin replied on camera, "We're about to roll out some significant new requirements at FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. We want to make sure that technology moves forward, but on the other hand, we want to make sure that cryptocurrencies aren't used for the equivalent of old Swiss secret number bank accounts." It says the future of crypto and blockchains in the U.S. Military contractors in the United States have already shown their willingness to support companies embracing blockchain, and even the Federal Reserve sees the potential for digital currency, which would be a huge thing. I think I talked about that in one of my first few videos. They weren't the best. I've got a little bit more experience. I don't know how many videos I've made so far. Hey, give me that. But I kind of said how crazy it would be if the entire United States just swapped to crypto. If all, I don't know the population now, I think it's like 300 something million. If 300 million people started using Bitcoin or just any kind of crypto, it would skyrocket. The US dollar would plummet. A lot of other currencies would plummet. Bitcoin would skyrocket. And it would just be insane. It would just be so chaotic. All these companies would have to convert to crypto and it'd be nuts. Anyways, the Secretary's comments allude to greater transparency with cryptocurrency to prevent money laundering. So, there is that. To end the video, here is the chart. Bitcoin had a crazy drop throughout the night. Went from, before I went to bed, it was at like 10,450 or 60, and I woke up and it had dropped by like 1 to 2%. It's currently sitting at 10,181. It's been holding at this. I think this is the new support level, 10,100. I would say go to that 7-day. I mean, the 7-day, it was at 9,700. It was holding strong. That was a support, and then it jumped up to 10,200, and now that's kind of been the support, is around like 10,100. It's having trouble breaking through that 10,400, but yeah. And then look at the 24-hour change. Theta token, what the heck? Status. See, a lot of these people just manipulate so much. All these little 1 cent, 2 cent, 9 cent. Nobody uses these. It's just, a lot of them are scams. I wouldn't even mess with it. I would only, if I were you, in my opinion, I would just mess with maybe top 20 coins. That's just my opinion. Any of these. But yeah, so that's all I got. Hope everybody has a good day today, and I will see you tomorrow. Later.